Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Stotra Sata Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Stotra Sata Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Shri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premsa Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gangamai Ki Jai, Yamunamai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Go Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, translations and commentary by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so I should read those first and then we'll go through 47 together. 44, 45, 46. No purports. This is text 44. The chapter is entitled Creation of the Kumaras and Others. anvikshiki trayivarta dandanitis tataiva cha evam vihāreṇa yaschasan pranavo hyasya udāhṛta. Translation. The science of logical argument, the Vedic goals of life, and also law and order, moral codes, and the celebrated hymns, bhu, bhuva, and sva, all became manifested from the mouths of Brahmā, and the pranava omkar was manifested from his heart. 45. Tasyoshnig asilo mabhyo gayatri chatvacho vibho trishtum mamsat shnuto nushtub jagat yashna prajāpateḥ. Translation. Thereafter, the art of literary expression, ushnik, was generated from the hairs on the body of the almighty Prajāpati. Is this too loud? It's okay? The principal Vedic hymn, Gayatri, was generated from the skin, Trishtup from the flesh, Anushtup from the veins, and Jagati from the bones of the Lord of the living entities. Text 46. Majaya panktir utpanna brihati pranato bhavat. Translation. The art of writing verse, pankti, became manifested from the bone marrow, and that of brihati, another type of verse, was generated from the life breath of the Lord of the living entities. We'll read this verse together, word for word. Or we read the Sanskrit first. Sparśas tasyābhavaj jīvaḥ svaro deha udāhṛta ūṣmāṇam indriyāṇi āhur antaḥ-sthā balam ātmanaḥ svaro sapta vihāreṇa bhavanti smā prajāpateḥ. Please chant. Sparśas tasyābhavaj jīvaḥ ūṣmāṇam indriyāṇi āhur svaro sapta vihāreṇa sparśas tasyābhavaj jīvaḥ svaro deha udāhṛta ūṣmāṇam indriyāṇi āhur antaḥ-sthā balam ātmanaḥ svaro sapta vihāreṇa bhavanti smā prajāpateḥ. Sparśas tasyābhavaj jīvaḥ svaro deha udāhṛta ūṣmāṇam indriyāṇi āhur ātmanaḥ svaro sapta vihāreṇa bhavanti smā prajāpateḥ. Sparśas tasyābhavaj jīvaḥ svaro deha udāhṛta ūṣmāṇam indriyāṇi āhur svaro sapta vihāreṇa Prajāpateḥ. Vaishnavis. Sparśas tasyābhavaj jīvaḥ. Svaro deha udāhṛta. ūṣmāṇam indriyāṇy āhur. antaḥ-sthā balam ātmanaḥ. svaro sapta vihāreṇa. bhavanti smā prajāpateḥ. Sparśaḥ, the set of letters from ka to ma. Tasya, his. Abhavat, became. Jīvaḥ, the soul. Svaraḥ, vowels. Deha, his body. Udāhṛta, are expressed. ūṣmāṇam, the letters. Sa, and ha. Indriyāṇi, the senses. Āhuḥ, are called. antaḥ-sthā, the set of letters so known. Ya, ra, la, and va. Balam, energy. ātmanaḥ, of his self. Svaraḥ, music. Sapta, 7. Vihāreṇa, by the sensual activities. Bhavanti smā, became manifested. Prajāpateḥ, of the Lord of the living entities. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Brahma's soul was manifested as the touch alphabets, his body as the vowels, his senses as the sibilant alphabets, his strength as the intermediate alphabets, and his sensual activities as the 7 notes of music. Purport. In Sanskrit, there are 13 vowels and 35 consonants. The vowels are a, I, e, u, r, l, e, I, o, ow. And the consonants are ka, ga, etc. Amongst the consonants, the first 25 letters are called the sparśas. There are also 4 antaḥ-sthās. Of the ūṣmās, there are 3 S's called talavya, murdanya, and dantya. The musical notes are sa, ra, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. All these sound vibrations are originally called shabda Brahmā, or spiritual sound. It is said, therefore, that Brahmā was created in the Mahakalpa as the incarnation of spiritual sound. The Vedas are spiritual sound, and therefore there is no need of material interpretation for the sound vibration of the Vedic literature. The Vedas should be vibrated as they are, although they are symbolically represented with letters which are known to us materially. In the ultimate issue, there is nothing material because everything has its origin in the spiritual world. The material manifestation is therefore called illusion in the proper sense of the term. For those who are realized souls, there is nothing but spirit. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So before trying to speak, I'll beg the blessings of my revered seniors and all the wonderful assembled Vaishnavas, that I might speak according to the parampara. Now I don't know which glasses are which. There we go. There's the aphorism from the Vedanta Sutra, anavriti shabdat, that by spiritual sound, the soul becomes liberated from material bondage. This is the power of sound. Sound has that power to influence, to affect consciousness, for good or for bad. So very specifically, the Vedic sound, the sound vibration which is coming originally from Krishna, that sound vibration is intended to fulfill the purpose of creation. What is that purpose? Well, they say there's two purposes of creation. One purpose is to give souls an opportunity to be foolish and to try to imitate Krishna, and to do that to their full capacity for as long as they want. But the real purpose of creation is to bring the souls who are in this world back to their real life, to their senses of what their real identity is, what their real life is. So that's spiritual sound vibration, which brings the soul back to its constitutional position. And that sound vibration is pure. And the duty of the teachers of this world is to simply represent that spiritual sound vibration. Don't tamper with it. Therefore, Prabhupada presented Bhagavad Gita as it is, without any alteration, no additions, no subtractions, faithfully. Prabhupada said Guru is like a postal peon, very faithfully presenting the message of the Lord. But this is Kali Yuga, so souls, they like to tamper with everything. They like to spoil everything. If you look at any area of knowledge or any area of any discipline, you see how living entities have spoiled it. The medical field. What's the purpose of the medical field? It's such a responsible field, and people in this world are so dependent on medical practitioners, and it's become so corrupted. It's been bought up by big money interests, right? That now children, they go to psychologists, and the psychiatrists have been paid off by the pharmaceutical industry. Some 13-year-old, 15-year-old goes and says, I'm in anxiety. I have a lot of stress on my mind. And this so-called psychiatrist who's supposed to help souls, who's supposed to help people become, so that's not a problem. Let me prescribe something for you. Immediately prescription. Why? Because I'm getting a kickback. I'm getting some money from the pharmaceutical industry. Lawyers, what to speak of lawyers, supposed to uphold the law, uphold justice, and they're famous for doing the opposite. So all of the fields have been corrupted. And the field which is also very prone to corruption, which causes the most damage. The most damage is in the field of spirituality. So many people translated the Bhagavad Gita and commented on it. And in each of the commentaries, the conclusion was the same. Not to Krishna. That's the conclusion, right? Krishna says, to me, surrender to me, think of me, worship me, offer homage to me. Not to Krishna. How they reach that conclusion. Like here, there's some discussion of grammar. So how do they reach that conclusion? Krishna is saying in so many ways, unto me, and they say, not unto Krishna. So they misinterpret the Vedic writings, Vedanta Sutra. They misinterpret with their own speculations. Why? Because their hearts are impure. Because there's envy of Krishna. Therefore, they're not interested in surrendering to Krishna, serving Krishna, and they mislead other souls away from Krishna. But if you want the real commentary on Vedanta Sutra, then you ask the author, what did you intend here? Vedanta Sutra is a very esoteric, very difficult to comprehend text. So you ask the author, Vyasadeva, he's given his commentary, Srimad Bhagavatam. Clear as day. No scope for interpretation. So the Mayavadis, they avoid Srimad Bhagavatam because it's hard to mess with it. But this is Kali Yuga, so there's some so-called gurus, they don't misinterpret the Shastra. They just don't read the Shastra. So they frankly admit, yes, with a smile on their face and a twinkle in their eye, actually, I've never read Bhagavad Gita. So-called, he's a guru. I've never read Bhagavad Gita. So his only credit is that he didn't misinterpret it. That's his credit. But spiritual sound has the power to transform society. That was Prabhupada's intention in presenting the Srimad Bhagavatam and in pushing so hard. He was pushing so hard. You distribute these books, you give these books to the people in society because he knew it will effect a transformation in society. People's understanding of life will be corrected, will be rectified, and people will become sane in their dealings. They'll understand how to live, how to interact with each other. Everything can be rectified by following the direction of the Shastra. So spiritual sound vibration, when it's faithfully presented, has that power, has the power to correct the ills of society. And it has the power to rectify the individuals in society. It has that power, but one must apply oneself. One must accept the process of hearing spiritual sound vibration. And then the consciousness is corrected. The consciousness gradually becomes purified, refined. But it has to be taken properly, with the right mood, with a mood of submission and respect. And of all sound vibrations, the sound vibration of the holy name of Krishna, this has great, great power, because it's non-different. Nama chintamani Krishnas chaitanya rasa vigraha purno shuddha nitya mukta abhinatvam nama namino. This holy name of Krishna is non-different than Krishna. And it can offer souls everything. Everything desirable, all benedictions. Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahada vagni nirvapanam shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamritasvadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Dravida Prabhu's poetic translation, if I might offer it. All glories to the chanting of Sri Krishna's holy names, which easily extinguishes samsara's blazing flames by polishing the lust-encrusted mirror of the heart. The chanting is the waxing moon that knows the secret art of causing the white lotus of good fortune to unfurl its petals far and wide throughout this bleak and blighted world, of transcendental knowledge which will take us to life's goal. The chanting of the name of Krishna is the life and soul. Now hear with great attention as I earnestly exclaim, please bathe your consciousness by chanting Krishna's holy names. The ocean of ecstatic bliss floods far beyond its bounds, wherever Krishna's merciful and mystic name resounds. Indeed, whenever Krishna's names are sung in congregation, at every step one tastes the joy that knows no limitation. Once again, now hear with great attention as I earnestly exclaim, please bathe your consciousness by chanting Krishna's holy name. By transcendental potency, the name will surely bless you with pure love of Krishna and the end of all distress. So this is the multitude of benedictions that come from chanting Krishna's holy names. Everything is there. Everything is revealed through the holy name, step by step. The name is revealed, the qualities of Krishna are revealed, the form of Krishna is revealed, the pastimes of Krishna are revealed. So if that's not all happening, the question, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong that I'm not experiencing these benefits of chanting the holy name? Lord Chaitanya has explained. Everything is there in the holy name. The holy name of Krishna is non-different, but I'm so unfortunate that I have no taste because I'm an offender against the holy name of the Lord. I don't give it proper attention. I'm supposed to be chanting the holy names, and my mind is going all over the place. There are times when it's hard to be focused on Krishna. Krishna says twice in the Bhagavad Gita, Man mana bhavamad bhakto. Always think of me. That's tough. Twice he says it. So important. Always think of me. So sometimes it's hard to think of Krishna during certain activities of the day. If we're doing accounting work, or we're taking care of some emails, or so many activities, it's hard to be intensely focused on Krishna. If one is fighting in a battlefield, it's kind of tough to remember Krishna. But during japa, that's an opportunity to remember Krishna intensely, to be absorbed in Krishna. That's a prime opportunity, and that's the time when one zones out from all other concerns, everything else that's of concern in our life, whatever responsibilities we have. Speaking to the physics teacher about my son's challenges, not now. Everything else put to the side. This is the time to be intensely focused on Krishna. Lord Chaitanya has Ainanda tanuja kinkaram, in a mood of calling out to the Lord. This is what chanting is. It's a mood of calling out to Krishna. Srila Gaur Govinda Swami said we need to cry to Krishna, cry to Krishna. Why? Because we should understand where we are. We're in the realm of illusion. And the devotee understands that. Someone who's intelligent knows what is to be feared and what is not to be feared. So Prahlad Maharaj has given, he's 5 years old, but he's given his mature conclusion. What is to be feared? I'm afraid of material existence. What? Afraid of death? No. Afraid of falling into illusion. Afraid of forgetting Krishna. So one has to always be in a mood of feeling oneself that at any moment I can be overwhelmed by the material energy. And this great gift which I've been given can be lost, can be taken away from me. So because of offenses, one is not able to chant the holy name. And Lord Chaitanya has given the remedy. What's the remedy? Tarnadapi sunichena taror iva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. More humble than a blade of grass, as tolerant as a tree, to think all praise belongs to others and none belongs to me. These qualities attract the Lord to bless one with the power to chant His name incessantly until the final hour. So this is the firm instruction of Lord Chaitanya, that if one wants to chant the holy name of the Lord properly, if one wants to receive this supreme benediction, these are the qualities which are essential. Humility, tolerance, being respectful to others, not desiring respect for oneself. And the embodiment of those qualities was the Namacharya, Haridas Thakur, the very embodiment of those qualities. He was so humble in his previous embodiment, or Lord Brahmā, the highest position in the universe. When Indra gets into trouble, Indra's king of the gods. So when you're king of, who do you go to? When you get in trouble, you go to Lord Brahmā, and then with Brahmā you go to the ocean of milk, and Lord Brahmā leads the prayers. So Brahmā has the highest position, no higher position. But he thought, what's the use of this highest position? What is the use of being Lord Brahmā if I'm bereft of participating in the pastimes of Krishna, right? He came and he offered his beautiful prayers to Lord Krishna. And Krishna's standing there with, was it his left hand? He was holding the rice with the yogurt in it. And Lord Brahma is offering these beautiful prayers to Lord Krishna. And Krishna's thinking, what's Lord Brahma doing here? And what is this he's talking about? Because Krishna was immersed in his business. What's Krishna's business? He's having a picnic with his friends in the forest. This is God's business. So Brahma is dismissed by Krishna. Okay, go back to your service. So he went back to his service. And what's the use of being Brahma? What is the use? Big position. Better I take a very humble position. So he came in the most humble position. Haridas Thakur. Outcast family. And by his qualities, he conquered the heart of Lord Chaitanya. By his humility. Lord Chaitanya was calling. It was prasadam time and all the devotees had gathered. Where's Haridas? And Haridas Thakur, I cannot take prasadam with the devotees. I'll simply stay outside. And then the prasadam, the remnants were delivered to Haridas Thakur. This was the attitude of Haridas Thakur, that I'm not fit to sit with the Vaishnavas. And the very embodiment of tolerance, such a level of tolerance. One thinks, okay, if one becomes a devotee, what to speak of a great devotee, then all the troubles should stop. The troubles didn't stop for the 5 Pandavas, not at all. And for Haridas Thakur, so much troubles, being imprisoned, and then being beaten. And not only tolerating, not only wishing the highest good for the abusers. In the midst of being tortured, wishing the highest good. This is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's instruction. A Vaishnava should wish the highest good for his worst enemy. That's the heart of a Vaishnava. So the very embodiment of tolerance. Because these two qualities, humility and tolerance, they don't come easy for a conditioned soul. It's not that those qualities are naturally manifested in the heart of the opposite. Conditioned soul is thinking, I'm everything. Humble? Yeah. No. I'm the center of reality. Demoniac mentality. Tolerance. I remember when I was in high school, at the end of the year, there's a yearbook. Yearbook? And in the yearbook, one of the things that you're allowed to share is your pet peeves, the things which annoy you. And everyone is very eager to share their pet peeves, the thing which annoys me. So if you go around the mature world and you say, what are the things that annoy you? What are the things you find to be, that you just have a hard time, everyone says, I'm very happy to share that with you, the things that I can't tolerate. All the things which interfere with my plan for being the Lord, for being the enjoyer, for being, for being the center. Anything or anyone who interferes with that, I have a very tough time to tolerate it. Total lack of tolerance. We're in the temple room taking darshan, and it's crowded, so anyone find it hard to tolerate being pushed, shoved? Someone comes and stands right in front of you, right, and pushes into you as you're taking darshan. And immediately the false ego, do you know who I am? You know who I am? I can tell you my initiation date, and I can tell you I was initiated before you. Why are you standing in front of me? This wasn't Lord Chaitanya's attitude. Lord Chaitanya was also disrupted when he was taking darshan. That lady came and she climbed on his shoulders. Does anyone know which offense that is? Which, in the list of offenses in the worship of the Lord, does anyone know which offense that is? Which number? There's no number for it. No acharya thought that this should be listed, because you can't get any more offensive than that, Climbing on God's shoulders. Lord Chaitanya didn't think it was an offense. Govinda immediately, get down. What are you doing? Do you know who that is? That's someone. That's God. What are you doing? Get down. And Lord Chaitanya, he corrected Govinda, his servant. He said, oh, you uncivil, don't you know? This person has so much eagerness to see Lord Jagannath. I wish I had such eagerness to see the Lord. Jayadvaita Swami was asked a question. He said, this problem of fault finding, what can we do about this problem of fault? And Jayadvaita Swami said, fault finding is a good thing. A good thing? He said, yeah. He said, start with yourself, and when you're finished, then you can move on to others. So in this way, this quality of fault finding can be dovetailed, because it's there. This tendency, constant tendency to see what is the shortcoming in others, wasting time, as though there's not enough business at hand. There's not enough work to be done on myself, that my mind wants to find the shortcomings in every others. So that tendency can be dovetailed. The tendency for intolerance can also be dovetailed. What is there that is intolerable? The false ego is intolerable. That's intolerable. To have impure consciousness, that's intolerable. That just in the midst of one's devotional service, some impure thought just comes and invades the mind. these things are very difficult to tolerate. So this is the mood, the direction, the conviction of a devotee, is that I'm tired of these things. I'm very tired of being a conditioned soul. It's a great burden to carry, the burden of conditioned life, where one is disconnected from Krishna. Here, Prabhupada said, for an enlightened soul, there's nothing but spirit. But for a conditioned soul, the conditioned soul doesn't experience spirit. Even when spirit is present in its most potent, pure form, conditioned soul doesn't experience it. The holy name of Krishna is being vibrated, and a conditioned soul feels nothing. Nothing. Sometimes we're reading in the Shastra some description, some beautiful description, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying that this description can melt stone or wood. He says it, right? It will melt stone. And I just read the thing and I feel nothing. I said, oh, I missed it. I didn't get it. Why? Because the heart is hard. The heart is hard. That's hard to tolerate, a hard heart. Hard heart means that there's no feeling for Krishna. There's no love for Krishna. And there's no compassion for souls. When the heart is soft, then one feels love for Krishna. One feels very attracted to Krishna. And one feels compassion for the suffering of humanity. That's the heart of a Vaishnava. So everything has been given. Everything has positively been given. It's just a question of applying the process with the right mentality. Always in the mood of refining the consciousness. Always in that mood. That, what is the state of my consciousness and how does it need to be refined? Perfection is possible. There's an ideology which developed in Christianity. Jesus said, be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. But that's tough, to really endeavor very diligently and sincerely. And to the Christians, they changed it. They said, yeah, we're all sinners. Jesus died for our sins. That's the end of the story. He died for my sins. So no need to do very much. Just proclaim myself to be a Christian. Be on the right team. But that's not our understanding. Our understanding is different. Our understanding is that it's no difficulty at all for Krishna to purify a tiny soul. Effortlessly, Krishna manifests innumerable universes by breathing. He's breathing and universes are coming out. So how difficult is it for Krishna to purify one tiny soul? Not at all difficult. So what's lacking? What's the missing ingredient? My lack of sincerity, my lack of desire. That's it. That's the missing ingredient. So we're just cultivating desire, intensifying our desire that I want to be a devotee. That's it. I want to be a devotee. And the part of me that's not a devotee, I don't want that anymore. I don't want that. I don't want that guy. That roommate, I don't want him. It's a very nasty roommate. Imagine you have a roommate who never takes a bath, all the time blurting out crazy stuff to you. You're going about your business, trying to, lead a nice life and move in the right, and then some obnoxious roommate always giving some stupid idea. Yeah, you're better than everyone. Look at this guy over there, what he's doing. There's so many unlimited sort of disturbances coming from that roommate, that little demon inside. But Krishna, he can vanquish that demon. It's just a question of our desire, our diligent desire. No, Krishna, I want to be your devotee. I want to be your servant and servant of your servants. And then over time, Krishna will free us from this undesirable condition of life. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Haribol. Navina Nirada Prabhu. Sorry? Navina Nirada Prabhu has a question or a comment.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. The same fellow that you mentioned who admitted not reading the Gita or any of the Vedas also said that because it would alter my consciousness, it would influence me, and I don't want that, so I can just... you very nicely put how we can engage in tolerance, etc. Could you elaborate on how we can engage envy? Because we can see that, like this person that we spoke about, he's a very popular performer, dresses up and speaks, nice jokes and nice things that people like. Yet the attitude is envy, because he's not giving credit to Krishna, he's not glorifying Krishna, rather he wants to be in the center of things. So envy can be very subtle or can be very gross. How can we engage or deal with envy in a conducive, in a productive way?
There are certain qualities which one has to be extremely careful in trying to dovetail in Krishna's service. Because so often, when we try to dovetail certain qualities, there will be a healthy mix of our own ego in terms of trying to engage those qualities. Just like when we first come to Krishna consciousness, we read Prabhupada's books, and Prabhupada, from his pure heart, from his soft heart, is very strong. He's speaking so strong. Fools and rascals and nonsense. But if you look at what's behind all of that, it's a pure heart. The heart of just trying to help souls. And so we take one part of it. I'm a follower of Prabhupada. Now I'll go with a sledgehammer and smash everyone, because I'm no longer a karmi. I'm now a devotee. So all these non-devotees, fools and rascals, and so it's a manifestation of my false ego trying to be heavy with others. Or anger. Anger is another quality which is very difficult to dovetail in Krishna's service. Hanuman can do it. Prabhupada can do it. Arjuna can do it. But most souls can't do it. Most souls, there'll be some mix of ill intent, arrogance. I didn't answer your question. Because I'm not sure how to dovetail, that quality of envy in Krishna's service. Yes, Prabhu.
I had heard that envy cannot be dovetailed. Other than envy, other things can be dovetailed. That's what I've heard. I don't know the reference. I think maybe Bhaktivinoda Thakur says or something. I don't know. I remember hearing that envy is the only thing which you cannot dovetail.
Good. So I guess I'm on safe ground here that I didn't know the answer. Prabhu.
I've also understood envy is the perversion of our appreciation. Because you're envious of something you're seeing. That's good. And if I'm perverted conscious, I want to take him down. If I see that's good, let me be as good. Or let me appreciate. So my envy is my perversion of my appreciation.
Thank you. Prabhu, and then Konteya Prabhu also had something to share.
It might be very difficult to dovetail envy. At the same time, as Prabhu was saying, is a sign of perceiving something beautiful, something sublime. So once I heard the definition, may not be a perfect technical English definition, but the devotee was saying envy means that this person should not have what he has. In other words, there is a sense of malice. He has some opulence, and I don't want him to have it. And then there is, again, may not be technical dictionary definition, but then there is jealousy that this person has something special. And I also want to develop that. Like you hear a devotee, very scholarly, or a devotee like you, who remembered and expressed poetry. And I may feel jealous, because I don't have that. So, but that can be used as an impetus to develop. Maybe I also want to learn some English poetry and present it. So in that way, it can be somewhat utilized.
Thank you very much, Konteya Prabhu. Very nice point. Prabhu had something to share as well.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, I think this is just to your humility, you have all the answers. You have explained very beautifully. Thank you for your beautiful class. Then Bhakti Maharaj had a similar question about envy. So Maharaj put it another way. Jīvaḥ Sarvabhaya Krishna Ranityadas, explaining that envy is a catalyst of a false ego. So whatever this envy is working, that means, that's actually the false ego. So Maharaj explained that that's a basic understanding, basic philosophy. It's a beginning step on the spiritual life. Jīvaḥ Sarvabhaya Krishna Ranityadas, that we have to know our identity to be insignificant. We are so minute. So although false ego being the finest out of the three subtle elements, but it's so powerful. Maharaj explained, how can be so powerful? It's that we allow it to take over our life, because we are allowing it. Some enjoys it. Some, like Prabhu just said, that some get some kind of pleasure, or to try to get what you have. But in summary, that Maharaj explained that envy is the character of false ego. That we have to, if a devotee become envious for another devotee, that means that person didn't understand the basic philosophy of ISKCON that we preach, that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. And we are so insignificant that no matter how big position one holds, they must understand that I'm still a servant. Not only that, the servant of the servant of the servant. We may be preaching, but do we feel that way, that are we really a servant of the servant of a servant? So we just have to practice that. It's the best way to control this envy. It's not to dovetail or something, but we have to have the understanding that we are not this body, we are spirit soul, we are insignificant, lower than a blade of grass. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Regarding doubting this fault-finding tendency, Guruji, But if a person is proud, so he cannot see his faults. So how he can dovetail this tendency? Because he cannot see his faults.
How can a proud person dovetail this tendency, this fault-finding tendency? With probably not.
Thank you very much. Just now I thought something. Let's say you notice some traits of behavior or whatever in other person which annoys you, which you see as is an anartha, which you don't like him to have it. So when you point this out, you cannot tolerate anymore, and you want him to get rid of that. So that's sort of envy, but it's also fault finding. But then what is different between fault finding and envy? Because I lost what I initially wanted to think, but you see something which you don't like him to have it. See, but it's kind of positive because it's like something which annoys you, and you see if you get rid of that, it would be better. So this can disturb the person also, but it's kind of fault finding of proper fault finding. So that's one part of the question. Is a proper fault finding which you want him to get rid of. Another is what is different between fault finding and envy. Yeah. Do you understand me?
One has to be aware of what one's duty is. If it's my duty to find some shortcoming in someone else, then I'm stuck with that burden. It's a burden for a devotee.
So you are made to be just equal in ashram or whatever. So, like if you are just kind of on equal level and you are in ashram, so in that sense, to take duty means you have a group of devotees which you take care of, or you have authority. But in one-to-one or whatever, it's just like on equal level. When you find this fault, is it also in the same category? I mean,
I'm not sure. I didn't quite catch the question.
Let's say if you are authority, which you should correct others, that's one thing. But let's say on an equal level, like in the ashram devotees, so in this sense, almost like a friend. But there's some things you pointed out to others. So in that sense, what's my position? But in the ashram, we could point out faults of others.
One has to be very careful to understand what would be the possible good outcome of finding some shortcoming in someone whom I might be engaged in some seva with. If we have a very close relationship with someone, then we might be in a position where, in a very sensitive, tactful, appropriate way, we can point out to that devotee that this thing that you're doing I find it to be disturbing, or maybe it's not so beneficial for you, please consider it. So if there's an absolutely good intention and we have the relationship with the person, then the outcome might be good. In the absence of those things, it's probably better to direct that concern to the person whose service it is to correct people. The person who has that very difficult service of correcting, a manager or a guru or an authority figure like that. And I think one thing that typically what we find is that there's certain devotees that in their presence everyone's best qualities come out. Yes? Certain devotees, when you're around them, then your best qualities come out. You show your best side in a natural way, right? So I can see that that's my shortcoming. My shortcoming is that when I'm in association with people, their best qualities don't come out. It's my shortcoming, not that person's shortcoming. That's one way of seeing it. But this is inevitable in this world, that there's going to be people that, are pleasing to us, their bodies and their minds are pleasing to us, and there's going to be people whose bodies and minds are just the opposite, just annoy us like anything. I don't know what it is about this person. They totally get under my skin, right? It's my shortcoming. This is just a temporary covering of this pure soul, and I'm so disturbed by it. But I should see, how does a pure soul see this person? Just like there were certain people that came into the service of Prabhupada, and no one could stand them. No one liked them because they just had very rough qualities. But Prabhupada liked them. Prabhupada liked them. And they understood that although nobody likes me, I'm not sure why, but this person likes me. Prabhupada likes me. And therefore they gave themselves to Prabhupada. So it's my shortcoming. I'm not sure if I answered your question.
It's very good, because my experience is also that exactly this inappropriate approach is very common due to immaturity. I have to admit, I'm first person there also. It just blurs out, and I see like we frighten each other very often, just like that, without really seeing things and properly addressing.
And another thing is that we actively cultivate, because what you're describing is the default mode. The default mode is that certain people just annoy me like anything. That's the default mode. That's effortless. It takes no effort to have that mentality. But the proper cultivation is, okay, what's the good quality in this person? Well, the good quality is that this person, with whatever background they have, whatever shortcomings they have, this person is trying to serve Krishna to some degree. 10%, 80%, who knows? This person is trying to serve Krishna and therefore is dear to Krishna. Yes, it's time. Thank you. Hare Krishna.